welcome. Welcome to our 2023 Advent Devotional videos. We are going to be doing 25 videos, one every day from today, which is Friday the 1st of December, all the way through until Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Yay! So you can use it like an Advent calendar if you'd like. So no chocolates, but it's much healthier for you. And I know you're going to be encouraged. So each day we're going to read a little bit of the Christmas story and take a lesson that's applicable to our lives now, to help us grow and encourage our faith at this period of time. Because I know Christmas can be quite difficult sometimes, can't it? For different families, and stress and gift buying and all the things that go with it. So we hope that these videos will just give you just a few minutes, they'll be nice and short, to encourage you as you go into your day during this season. So today, first day, John's taking the first day. So where are we reading from, John?
We're going to read from Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. Matthew 1:18. So here we go. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. So we're just going to start with that, just those two verses. It's amazing. It says that the birth of Jesus, this is how it happened. When his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph. Now, right there we have different culture of marriages. So over, obviously, here in the West, you get engaged. You say, will you marry me? Hopefully.
Yes.
They say yes. And when they say yes, then you're not married then. You're obviously engaged until the wedding ceremony. Whereas in Jewish culture, it was different. Mm-hmm. You actually went and went to the bride's house and met with the father, and then you talked to them, and then you'd say, I go and prepare a place for you, so where I am, you will be with me also. And then they drink some wine to seal the deal, and then they both drink the drink. Anyway, so when all this happens, then they become married. They are married, but they haven't consummated the marriage yet. So then they go away, and then the groom goes away and prepares a place for his bride. And then the father is the only one that says, it's time, go and get your bride. And then he goes and gets a bride, and then they consummate the marriage, and they have 7 days of feasting, which is a wonderful time. Now, so what we can get from this section here, it says, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. And we're going to talk about that some more in another video. But it says Joseph, her husband. So obviously right there it's saying that they were married, but they hadn't consummated their marriage. And it says it was
serious though. It was really serious to be engaged in this culture. It was as good as married.
It is as good as married. In fact, it is married, because in order to end the marriage, you actually still have to divorce that person. Mm-hmm. So it may not be consummated, but it's still a marriage. You're still married to that person. So, did you want to say something?
I was going to say, you've made a contract with the father, and haven't you?
Yes.
So it's a contract, yeah.
So it's marriage. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a marriage contract, don't you? You know? So it says that then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily, or privately, or discreetly. So right there, it says that Joseph was a just man. You see, the thing is, after a few months, say 3 months, Mary was found with child of the Holy Ghost. So he'd found that his marriage, his wife, who is not yet, consummated the marriage, she's pregnant. And therefore, that's going to make it really difficult, because it's like, in the Old Testament, it says that if you're married to a person, stroke betrothed to that person, and they are found to have
cheated, been unfaithful,
then both the unfaithful parties, the male and the female person, will be taken outside of the camp and stoned to death. So
serious things.
Huge. That's hugely serious. Now it's like, oh, what, you cheater? No, go. And then it's the end of relationship. It's done. No, in Jewish times, no, you stoned to death. So that's serious. You know, they took it a lot more serious than they do here. It's just, you know, now. Anyway, we won't talk about what they do now. We'll talk about back then. You were stoned to death for
infidelity. Yeah.
Infidelity. So right there, it said that Joseph was being a just man. And when it said just man, it means a righteous man, a man who follows the law. So Joseph could be fully within his rights to say, okay, who is the other person? You're going to get stoned, all right? And he would still be technically a righteous man in following the law in doing this. Yet it says, not willing to make her a public example, he was minded to put her away privately or discreetly. So what he was thinking about doing right there was actually saying, I'm just going to divorce her very quietly. When they ask for a reason, he won't say what the reason is. He'll just give a letter of divorcement and do it discreetly, quietly, so that she would live. And right there, that is an amazing insight to Joseph and his character, because you see, the Bible talks about with the law, with the amount of laws there are. It says there are two great laws: love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. And these two fulfill the whole law, is to love thy neighbour. And so Joseph loved Mary enough to say, I love you enough that I don't want you to be stoned to death. I'm just going to do this discreetly and quietly. And we can learn a lot of lessons right there. That sometimes you've got to decide what is loving and what is right. And both, you could say, I could do the right thing, like taking someone to court. I'm going to do what is right. This is my right. I can do these things and take them to the cleaners. Or you could forgive them, bless them, just...
Because he still did what was right. He was planning to anyway. We know that he didn't, so just in case, spoiler alert. But he was in his rights to divorce her.
Yes.
But he didn't exact justice from her. That's right. The difference, isn't it?
He didn't exact justice. That's a good word.
He would have divorced her privately, which was the right thing to do under the law.
Yes.
Without taking justice for the offence against himself.
That's right. And so what a wonderful picture we have here of Joseph. You can see the dilemma, the turmoil for the whole thing, And the next lesson we're going to talk about will be how he avoided all of that. And because if he didn't avoid that, we wouldn't have the Christmas story. So we know it's quite important.
He's a character we don't know much about, but he's a godly man, and even in the short bits that we do know about him, there's a lot we can learn. So thanks, John. That was great. I enjoyed that. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow for part 2, and have a great day.